This is Richard back at you guys. We got Annie in the house. Gotta love that. We got Miss Teresa on the camera today. Definitely gotta love that. But anyway, we got Ron. It's 05 Chevy 1500 in the house, 4.8 liter. Says it's slipping really bad. Now, is this gentleman here from town, Teresa, or is he from out of town?
He lives here in town.
Here in town, okay. We got a lot of people from out of town this week too,
Yeah.
so a lot of things coming up.
But he just wanted to service it, but because the check engine light is
Right.
on, we had to check it out.
Right. Now, he did say that it had codes in it before for the EVAP system. They cleared them. Of course, it come back, and then he never checked the codes again once the check engine light come on. Well, then it created a check engine light for the mass airflow sensor, which that is a very critical code for the transmission too. So anytime your check engine light comes on, you need to try to get it off as soon as possible, no matter what it takes. If not, check it weekly to verify that you don't have something else going on for the reason it being on. So you can get in big trouble that way and cost you a lot of money. But anyway, Chevy 1500 05, 153,000 miles.
Yep.
Pretty dirty looking.
And it smells.
Got a TMVX torque converter, even though it has a smaller motor.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Really dirty, huh?
Yeah.
We've got parts coming in from everywhere. What I like about it is customers are finding their own parts and then bringing their vehicles in and supplying a lot of their high performance parts, wide bands and all that type of stuff, so we don't have to track it down. Even though we keep all that stuff in stock, a lot of stuff it's harder to find. It still takes us 2 or 3 weeks to get it, and if you just walk in with it in your hand, then boy does it make it nice that way.
Most people know what we're using.
Yeah.
That's why they bring it.
Yeah. Of course, this is a 4-wheel drive. It's a 4-wheel drive adapter. You can just see all the black material already even in the adapter housing there. We do have fluid in the connector too. Notice that.
Well, it's pretty wet on the side of it.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it was splashed up in there or anything though. It's not just drenched like you'd think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we just have a factory servo here. Now I'm not sure if he's going to be doing towing with this or anything like that, but we definitely want to do some work on the servo.
I can't remember if he said he did.
So we have our,
Talked to so many people.
I'm telling you. And we have our lockup O-ring here, still in pretty good shape. We have our front seal retainer. Of course, we just have your factory servo. What I mean by factory is they make so many different sizes. Let me see if this one's bigger. No, it's the same. Well, I got another one here. I think this is a smaller one. You can see the difference here. Then, of course, you got your Corvette servo. Let's see if I have one in sitting here. Oh, yeah, here's one. You can see the difference in the three. Is that the same as that one? I mean, look, nope, it's big. SS Trailblazer, Cadillac Escalade, stuff like that. Corvette, high performance, stuff like that. Pickup car, stuff like that. So.
Good to know.
Yep, definitely good to know. If you can find some of these SS Trailblazer ones, they work really nice. If you got one that's just a little bit too firm, you can put that in there and take your Corvette servo out. Now you can actually, on these here, you can actually see the hard ring. Instead of having a rubber O-ring that goes inside the pump, you can see the hard ring right there. Your bell housing physically holds it in. Good about this one is I got the privilege to pull it.
Golly.
Woo!
Oh my God. Yeah.
I got the whiff of that dude myself.
Woo,
Maybe some of my smell is coming back.
I think you could be.
And that fluid looked so thick when we ran out of that pan. It was crazy. Yeah, you
Mhm.
better do some squeegeeing. Woo! Woo! Goodness.
That does stink.
Hey, he can smell it.
What I do is I get a flash smell, and then it's gone. Look at that filter. Look at the metal.
Oh yeah, just run it off of it. You better be careful
Get that all over you.
not be slinging that.
Now we have our PWM solenoid here. Now these units, right when we get these tore down, they are built right back. No more than we're done doing the video. We're cases in the parts washer. Parts are being all hand cleaned.
I'm not
Nothing.
taking it to anybody else. Are you sure? No, I'm teasing.
But yeah,
Yeah.
everything's hand cleaned except the case, the tail housing, and the pan. Other than that, we clean it all with solvent. Internally, get all the gray metal that's in the pores and stuff like that out.
There is gonna be. Ooh, look at that pan and pulling in that pan.
Set that like that. Gonna get our detent lever off. We have our 3 long 10s, our 2 short 8s. We have our pillow switch. We have the rest of our 10s here. And we have 2 short ones. Sometimes there will be an oil reflector right here. Not on all of them. Does anybody think a check ball would be stuck in the plate?
I do.
What do you think?
I do.
I bet that check ball is stuck in the plate. Let's hope so anyway. You ready? Let's see. Ah, it's not stuck, but it's almost
Not
through.
stuck, but it was. Yeah, it's got.
It was
little-
almost there.
Oh my goodness, that stinks. Woo.
Oh, come on, Teresa.
Yeah, come on. And that's got all kinds of nice stuff in there.
You see all the trash. Let's say we're going to update this to a nice aluminum one. Always Scotch, when you get it cleaned up, Scotch-Brite this up really good and clean it up again. Got your shift solenoids.
I mean, that thing is strong.
Let's see if we got anything done here. Nope, just stock on our PWM valve. Of course, you know we're going to block that solid. Teresa, I'm going to blow that out there real quick. Come right out. Now, this is the easiest setup to block too, guys. I've showed this multiple times. Take and drop a check ball in there, put a check ball in that end, put it back together, put this back in. You'll have to push on it really hard to get it in, and then put your clip in, and that's solid. This is the easiest one to block without having to make a piece of tubing or something like that. Got our manual valve linkage. We have our accumulator here. Of course, the pin fell out. You always want to check, make sure that pin's stable in there, because if it's wore out down there, it can leak out here. Okay. Normally when they're loose, I just replace them, get rid of it. Have 2 springs. Always Scotch-Brite it up in there. Now just remember, always try to stack it to where your spring is level. If you can use some washers or whatever, always like to get the piston level. Okay. course, you can get your gasket off so you can look here. You can see where that check ball's been beating up the plate pretty bad here. Multiple areas. If the plate's just totally destroyed, if you have to replace or repair all the check ball locations, it's just easier to get another plate. Just got one hole to repair, two. You know, it's worth repairing it. Of course, you know, we block this here, put another piston on top, block it. We don't like beating the hole in the check, or beating the check ball in the hole right there and ruining the case. Got our new wiring harness setting over there. Okay, anytime there's fluid in that connector, you want to get rid of it. Here, Teresa, you want to hold my squeegee and do it for me? My hands are dirty. Just because I squeegee it, don't make it smell no better.
No.
Of course, we have our parking linkage here. You can see it down in here. There was a video out the other day. A guy shoved his vehicle in park. He got out and it took off, and he got in it and threw it in park, and it just clicking like crazy. And he finally jumped in, shocked it didn't rip the tranny out of the vehicle. But that's what you hear if you put it in park before you come to the stop. Very noticeable. And another thing, I had a guy call me or text me the other day off our YouTube channel. When he put it, the transmission in the parts washer, he bent this park rod here. So then, when he put the transmission in manual low, it kicked this park lever over just enough to touch. He didn't know what he did. And I told him, I said, well, when you laid it on the case, put it in the parts washer or whatever, you bent that rod, and when you put it in manual low, it just kicks it over just enough to put it in park, or try to. And he pulled it apart, and sure enough, that rod was bent just a little bit. So, real simple fix. Easy to do. Of course, all your bolts, you want to put new seals on. You want to put some sealant around all of them. You know, there's fluid come out of that bolt hole. You're going to really see it down through here, around where the cooler lines are and stuff, and down through here where the pump and case where pressure transfers. Okay, that's why you want to do it. If you have to pull it out one time, that's one time too many. Now we got a hard ring right here. Let me see if I can pull that off. It's your pump and case seal. Now you notice there's no O-ring groove for an O-ring no more. Still have your same gasket though. This gasket will retrofit all the way back to the earliest 700. But the early will not retrofit forward, so. You want to check your bushings. If this bushing's wore here, you want to stick your finger down in here and feel down in here and make sure your input shaft hasn't been rubbing down in here where the 4 rings go. Check here for any wear. Replace your rings there. This pump looks really, really nice. I'm impressed with that. See what type of boost valve and regulator spring or valve we have here. Probably a little 2-ringer or 1-ringer. A little 2-ringer. Now you can upgrade to a bigger boost valve, but you got to be careful. Anytime you want to do that, you definitely want to put a gauge on it and see what it's doing. Okay. It'll come with different springs here. A lot of times they want you to reuse your inner spring. Come on. There we go. Look at your valve. Always clean this hole out there. Make sure it blows through there. That little tiny hole. Pretty simple. Always replace your bushings. Your overhaul kit will come with a wide bushing here instead of a narrow, or your bushing kit will. And we have our, you can see here where our pump slide spring's been rubbing. You can see the spring's kind of angled and kind of crooked in there.
Yeah, it is.
So, always want to make sure that's straight. It's a cone style single spring. Converter could have been spaced a little bit more. You can see here, definitely got an area here, you can probably 1/8 of an inch more possibly. So we can grab all the lugs on the gear. You know, his bluing still looks pretty decent on it. You can start seeing some wear here. Anytime you put bigger boost valves and stuff in these trannies and you bump the pressure up, you're going to see paddle wear on this part here. Puts a lot of wear on there. That's why you always want to put a gauge. Look at your pivot pin for your slide. You can see it's wearing there. Of course, you want to get your little spring out of there. It's amazing how good that feels. I mean, I have to clean it up, get my gloves off and feel it, but it looks pretty good. Just some, it's kind of weird. It looks bad, but it's just like staining. Kind of weird how they do that. I always like to get my band anchor off of the band. That way you usually pull it straight out. I think we got some burnt clutches down in here. It's a little tight to get out of there. Of course, you have your band anchor here. I like to take a screwdriver and pop that out of there. That way you can pull this out. If you don't, this band will try to hang right here all the way around, and I mean, you can't pull it out. It just, you have to beat it out with a hammer. I mean, it's terrible. Of course, this drum's no good. I mean, just ate all up. That band's pretty tough. See here where something got in there, just grinded it all the way down. So, what a reverse clutch looks like. It's not burnt, looks pretty good shape. So the drum definitely needs to be replaced. And then of course we're going to get down here in our 3/4 clutch. Of course you know it's going to be smoked. Yep. Every time, look at that. That's actually welded together, but it's got the teeth on the clutch is bent plumb over. I think the load springs are done loading. There's nothing left of them no more. Well, our 3/4 clutch pack is totally gone.
God, look at that drum, all that stuff in there. Ugh.
It's amazing what it takes to clean these trannies up and get them ready to go. This drum will be all hand cleaned with wire brush and solvent, lots of air to get all that trash out of there, because believe me, that's all going to come out of there. We use little brass brushes. We get in there and with solvent and stuff and clean them out. Works really nice with a lot of air pressure. Of course, you have your spacer here. Looks like it's an 89. Got quite a bit of wear on it. You want to replace this bearing here or check it, make sure it's good. Now, if this bearing's bad, it'll whine and park in neutral, so you got to be really careful. Because we have all our clutches there that move it forward, and our engine brake clutch is still there. So, see what our forward sprag assembly looks like. course, it never fails. Every time they have a brass race or guide or whatever you want to call it, it's going to eat that steel hub up there. Of course, you can see this has
Got a lip.
got a lip built on it that'll lock right into there. It's not as deep as most, but usually wipes this hub out all the way around. So we replace the hub. Look for any cracks. Now Sonex does sell a really nice one you can replace this with. And of course you want to look at your inner race for any chatter marks or anything like that. Scotch-Brite that up, look at your sun gear, replace your bushings. Your outer race the same way. Scotch-Brite that up, make sure there's no chatter marks. Got all bonded pistons. That is one nasty tranny. Get in there and get this snap ring. It feels good to be back, that's for sure. I didn't get caught up on my honeydews or nothing though. The list just got longer and longer.
But we'll still be there.
When I get back?
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to replace the shell, of course. This does look like it has a hardened one in it, but the old metal got in here and chewed it up pretty good through here. Splines look good. With those shells, it's crazy how that bearing pushes that hard and puts ruts in this shell right there. You have your 4-tab washer. Of course, you have this roller bearing here. This is the bearing I was talking about that pushes so hard on here, it puts ruts in the shell. But you know that thrust washer, that 4-tab thrust washer that we're replacing with this, you can imagine how much force was put on that thrust washer. So, same way with your Planet. You want to look at all your gears, your pins for any purpling. Right here where the bushing runs, Scotch-Brite it up. Of course, we're going to be replacing this hub, because they're always wore. Of course, this one's bad. Now they do make 2 different ones of these, so depending on what year, so you got to check it. They make an A and a B. Part numbers the same, but I believe the last of the A and the B is different. Come on. Look at our clutches. Still look pretty good in our lower reverse area. Starting to flake pretty bad though, starting to come apart on that one. Sun gear. Definitely want to look at it on both sides. We replaced 90% of them things, so. Same way with your rear Planet. You want to grab the gears and see if there's excessive wobbling. If there is, replace it. Look for any pin purpling or anything like that. Ring gear. These things are really bad about wearing about midway out. So you want to go look along and look at all your teeth. So much it's on the drive side, not so much on the co side or the reverse side. So you can see that right there. See how it's wore? The tip of the tooth right there is wore. There. So. Same way with your sprag, your lower sprag assembly. Replace it. We always go in here and always, this is where your other clutch is going to run, so we're going to scuff that up there too. We're going to Scotch-Brite our inner race. Pretty simple. Teresa, not too bad, huh? But this is just one of many to go for the week. We got another one of these coming up, the Trent's pulling now. Also, we're going to be going through the 246 GM transfer case. It's got a hole in it with a pump starting to cut through the cover.
So we got a lot more things coming. Teresa, I want to thank you again. Definitely, guys. Don't forget to go subscribe, push that notification bell, because this is going to be a busy week. Y'all have a great day.